Welcome to the deep dive. So today we've got this whole stack of sources,
Yeah, a lot of them. Expert research, behavioral studies.
and we want to cut straight through all of it. We're skipping the complicated jargon and getting right to the core.
Your financial operating system.
Exactly. Our mission here is to kind of give you a shortcut to competence.
That's it. We're diving into the three big pillars that support everything. Your mindset, your earning power, and your financial defense.
And what's really revealing in all this research is this huge gap.
Yeah.
The gap between what people know they should do and what they actually do.
Oh, it's massive.
And some of the stats are, frankly, shocking. Like, we have research showing that negotiating your salary is one of the most powerful things you can do.
One of the most.
Yet only, about 37% of people always do it?
Right. And on the flip side, the defense is just as weak. We found that nearly half of all Americans couldn't cover a $400 emergency.
$400. Wow.
Yeah, without borrowing or selling something. And that vulnerability, it just shows you, right? The core problem isn't about math skills.
That's an execution problem.
It's a failure of execution.
So we're not solving a math problem today. We're solving a human behavior problem. The reason we struggle, even with the best of intentions, it's because it's all rooted in psychology.
Psychology and some very specific high-leverage skills.
Yeah.
And you have to start with that invisible force that controls everything.
The mind.
The mind. If you really want to know what's going on in your head, just look at your bank account.
Oof, that's a bit direct.
It is, but it's true. Your financial situation is like a mirror, a printout of your unconscious beliefs, your fears, your childhood memories. Psychologists call it your money script.
Okay, let's unpack that. A money script. Because I think most of us assume we're, rational actors when it comes to money.
We'd like to think so.
But you're saying these big decisions, saving, spending, even just asking for a raise, they're dictated by these old programs.
Precisely. Think back to your childhood. Did your parents argue about bills all the time? Were you told, we can't afford that, in that really stressful final tone? Those emotionally charged moments, they create these deep-seated beliefs.
Like money causes stress.
Or wealth is corrupt, or maybe only money can make you safe.
So if I grew up seeing my parents constantly worried, my own money script might be one of, chronic scarcity.
A classic example.
Yeah.
And that anxiety sabotages your adult decisions.
So I might avoid negotiating because the very idea of asking for more is just too.
It's too great. The anxiety is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Or you undercharge for your services because you're terrified of rejection.
So the script is trying to protect me from that childhood pain, but it's actually just locking me into mediocrity.
Exactly. It keeps you safe but small.
Okay, so how do we spot the script? I mean, that has to be the first step.
It is. And we can kind of categorize the most common destructive patterns into four main money personalities. They're not rigid labels, but they show the psychological patterns that influence pretty much every decision you'll make.
All right, lay them on us. Let's see if we can recognize ourselves here.
First up, the money avoider. This person feels discomfort, or even disgust, really, when it comes to money.
They think focusing on wealth is shallow.
Or that being rich is somehow morally questionable. Because they see money as dirty, they subconsciously sabotage their own financial lives.
How does that play out?
They might turn down high-paying work, give away their services for free, avoid looking at their bank statements.
Which, ironically, leads to the exact financial stress they were trying to avoid in the first place.
You got it. It's a powerful internal conflict.
Okay, what's next?
Next is the money worshiper. This person is absolutely certain that more money will solve all their problems.
Happiness, security, self-worth, everything.
Everything. So they work themselves to exhaustion, always chasing the next milestone.
Right.
But because they equate money with safety, they never, ever feel secure enough.
The goalpost just keeps moving.
Constantly moving. They just burn out chasing it.
It's like using money to treat an existential crisis. Okay, who's number 3?
The money status seeker. For them, money is purely to buy respect, to signal an identity.
Keeping up with the Joneses.
And then some. They're driven by comparison, by what other people think. So they're always upgrading the car, buying designer stuff.
Yeah.
Not because they love the thing itself.
Because of what it says to the world.
Right. They're essentially renting their self-esteem, which is a very fast track to overspending and feeling totally inadequate.
That one must be just lethal in the age of social media.
Oh, it's brutal.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And finally, number 4 is the money vigilant.
Okay, this sounds like a good one.
On the surface, yes. These people are extremely careful, hyper-responsible, they save, they pay off debt, they're often financially stable.
Got it.
But their script is shadowed by this excessive anxiety about loss. They really struggle to enjoy their money.
So they deny themselves reasonable pleasures.
Yes. Or they refuse to take calculated risks that could actually improve their lives. They end up living in this state of self-imposed deprivation.
So even when you're doing everything right on paper, you can still be trapped by fear. And that common thread of fear, that brings us to the whole scarcity versus abundance mindset.
That is so critical.
Hmm.
When you operate from a place of scarcity, your attention just narrows drastically. Psychologists call it tunneling.
Tunneling.
Yeah. When your brain is overwhelmed by what you lack, time, money, whatever, your cognitive bandwidth just shrinks.
Okay, what do we lose? What is cognitive bandwidth in this case?
You lose the ability to plan, to see opportunities, to do complex things. Your brain is just conserving energy for immediate survival.
So if I'm totally focused on how to pay a bill that's due in 3 days.
You literally cannot spend the mental energy planning a career move for 3 years from now. It's impossible. You just default to short-term and often very poor decisions.
It's the total opposite of an abundance mindset, which is all about possibility and creating value.
And this tunneling is also why we fall into the emotional spending trap so easily.
Ah.
The spending trap is almost always driven by uncomfortable emotions. We're not buying the product, we're buying the feeling the purchase promises.
Relief from boredom, a little hit of status.
Temporary control.
Yeah.
Marketers are experts at selling you emotional states.
So the key isn't more discipline, it's awareness.
It is. The sources all emphasize the power of the pause. Just before you buy, pause. Check in. What's the emotion? Am I stressed? Bored? Feeling small?
And then address that root emotion directly.
Exactly. If you're stressed, maybe what you really need is rest, not retail therapy. That is the real work of rewriting the script.
That's powerful, and understanding that psychological barrier is so important because it explains why our next topic is so hard for so many people. We need to switch gears to maximizing earning power, negotiation.
This is where the rubber meets the road, and let's go back to that statistic. Negotiating your very first salary can net you over $500,000 more during your career.
$500,000. Just from asking the question one time, why is that number so huge?
It's the magic of compounding. If you start your career at, say, $55,000 instead of $50,000, every single future raise, every bonus, every subsequent negotiation for the next 40 years is based on that higher number.
You're compounding a higher principal from day one.
It's an exponential effect.
And here's the mindset shift, right? The employer expects you to negotiate.
They absolutely expect it. The first offer is never the best offer. They build room for it into the budget.
So you're not being greedy.
No. You're demonstrating business sense, confidence, self-awareness, all the qualities they actually want in an employee. It's a business discussion for a mutually beneficial agreement.
So if negotiation is the house, then preparation is the foundation. What does good prep look like?
3 things. First, research, research, research. You have to know the objective market value for your role, your industry, your location. Use multiple sources, Glassdoor, PayScale.
And it's about what the market demands, not what you need for your personal budget.
Crucially, yes. Second, look at total compensation, not just salary.
Right. The whole package.
The whole package. Bonuses can be 10, 20% in some fields. What about equity? Stock options, health benefits. A $5,000 professional development budget can be just as valuable as $5,000 in salary.
And the third piece of prep.
A personal inventory of your value. You need quantifiable evidence. You can't just say, I'm a hard worker.
You have to say.
I increased client retention by 15%, or I cut department costs by $200,000. This makes your request logical and evidence-based, not just a wish.
Okay, so we're prepped. We know our value. When do we make the move?
Timing is everything. The perfect moment is after you get the formal written offer, but before you accept.
That's the point of maximum leverage.
It is. They've chosen you.
Yeah.
Going back to the candidate pool is a huge headache for them.
Okay, and when they inevitably ask us to name a number, how do we handle that?
If you have to go first, use the bracketing technique. Provide a narrow range, not one number.
Give me an example.
Based on my research for this role and the value I bring, I'm looking for compensation in the $95,000 to $105,000 range.
I love that. You've anchored the conversation at $95,000, even if your real target was maybe $90,000.
Exactly. It gives them room to negotiate up, but your target is safely inside their acceptable zone. The key is that the top of your range has to be ambitious, but still credible, maybe 10 to 20% above your target.
But what happens when you do all that and they hit you with the classic, we love you, but we just don't have the budget for that base salary?
Don't panic. This is the moment to pivot.
Okay.
Base salary is often tricky because of internal equity. They can't pay you way more than other people in the same role, but other things are flexible.
So what are those flexible levers?
The easiest is a one-time cost. Pivot to a signing bonus.
So you'd say something like,
I completely understand the constraint on the base salary. Would you be able to meet me in the middle with a one-time $5,000 signing bonus?
that's brilliant. It's a single expense for them, not a permanent budget increase.
Much easier for a manager to get approved.
What else can you pivot to?
Flexibility. Ask for another week of vacation, more professional development funding. Or, and this is a good one, ask for an earlier performance and salary review, say, in 6 months instead of 12.
It keeps the conversation going. I like that.
Wow.
So that's mastering the offense. Now we have to talk defense.
Right. We've maximized what's coming in. Now we have to protect the foundation,
The emergency fund.
the absolute bedrock of financial security. Without it, everything else you build is on shaky ground.
And the stakes are so high. You mentioned people using high-interest credit cards paying 18–25%.
Or worse, they raid their retirement accounts. They get hit with taxes and penalties and just sabotage years of progress in a single moment. The emergency fund is the insurance policy against all of that.
So let's get really clear. What is a true emergency?
It has to be unexpected and urgent. Something that stops you from earning income or is a major health risk.
So job loss, a medical crisis.
An urgent car repair so you can get to work.
Yeah.
It have not predictable expenses like Christmas gifts or your annual insurance premium. Those are just things you need to budget for.
That distinction is so important. So how much do we need? That target number can feel really overwhelming at first.
It can.
Yeah.
So start small. The first goal is a starter emergency fund, $1,000 to $2,000.
And that handles most of the small stuff.
The vast majority. A new car battery, a trip to the ER, it stops you from automatically reaching for the credit card.
Okay, so that starter fund buys you immediate peace of mind. What's the ultimate goal?
The ultimate goal is 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses.
And essential means?
Your survival budget, housing, utilities, food, minimum debt payments, that's it.
And I know there are adjustments based on your situation.
Yes. If you're self-employed or have a volatile income, you need more of a cushion. Aim for 9 to 12 months. And homeowners should factor in repairs plan on 1 to 3% of your home's value annually for surprises.
And where does this money live?
Safety and liquidity are the only goals, not growth. So the best place is a high-yield savings account at an FDIC-insured bank.
Easy to get to, but it earns a little something.
And what's the cardinal sin of the emergency fund?
Don't say it.
Never, ever, under any circumstances, keep your emergency fund in the stock market.
Because when the economy crashes,
That's often exactly when you need the money, and your fund would have just crashed along with it. The goal is safety. Full stop.
I also love the tip of keeping it in a completely separate account.
That psychological friction is vital. If you have to wait 24 hours for a transfer, you're much less likely to use it for an impulse buy.
And the ultimate leverage it gives you is freedom.
It is freedom.
Yeah.
It means you can take your time to find a good job. You can negotiate from a position of strength. You can walk away from a toxic workplace because you're not trapped.
Which brings us full circle. It connects the defense right back to the mindset. Financial resilience needs both, doesn't it? The sharp skills of negotiation and saving, and that internal awareness to beat the money scripts.
Absolutely. Every dollar you negotiate, every dollar you save, it all compounds. But only if your internal software lets you keep it and grow it.
Ultimately, the transformation is an identity shift.
It is. You stop trying to be financially competent and you start acting like the person who already is. You do that by building evidence. Small, consistent actions that prove to your brain that you are capable and secure.
And that leads us to our final thought for you to take with you. Since changing your money mindset is all about building evidence for this new financially secure identity, and you now have the tools, you know how to value yourself through negotiation and protect yourself with an emergency fund, what is one small identity-aligned financial action you will take today?
Will you save $5? Will you research the salary range for your current job? Or maybe just identify one of those money memories that you're finally ready to rewrite. Go build your evidence.